Welcome to the KYC podcast.
Keeping you consistent.
The fucking wasp comes and darts you right now. My neck. Oh shit!
Lands on my neck and you're just like, yeah! You tell her, got him, and then you look back to me and I'm like,
My hair alright?
Stop
Better
trying
than your hair.
You wish. I'd have to mess with my hair. So today, we're talking about injury. Because, ironically, we both sustained injury due to the same thing.
Overusing of the legs and underprepared to what you're about to face.
So yeah, I'd probably say the main feature would be lack of prep. Definitely.
100%, man.
Yeah. Like when we signed up to the Sheffield Half Marathon, we had 5 weeks. And I think I ran, other than Saturdays, I think I ran like 3 times.
Yeah.
That's just, purely the injury I'm suffering from on my knee at the minute is purely self-inflicted.
To be fair, I think we were both underprepared for the races that we... Like, my injury came way before a half marathon race. It was actually before a 10K race, but I was doing too much. But your injury, I think, underpreparing for half marathon at Sheffield, we both underprepared, man. I think the most I ran in a week was 42K, and that was like 8 weeks before.
You know what? It's actually a good point you mentioned that, because you probably did suffer your injury due to overuse of your legs. Because look at that wasp right there. Nah, he's filling away. He's coming back for me. I'm gonna bring fucking Raid next time we come out here. Over all the blue belt.
Mine was probably, way overusing on my legs, man. So the injuries we're referring to is Tom suffering from currently a knee injury that he pulled at Sheffield Half. I am referring to a break in my ankle. It snapped during training for a 10K race.
There's definitely something in those leaves, mate. I just heard it break something.
Break something?
Hey, mate, there's an anaconda in there, bro. 100%.
Imagine if something just wrapped around my neck now.
Sorry, mate. I'll save the camera again. I'm not really sure what's up with my knee. I've done a little bit of research onto it, and runner's knee is one of the common ones that has popped up.
I reckon it's this thing called being a pussy. No, I'm joking.
Could also be that. Yeah.
I'm only joking.
I'm going to remember that for the future.
Oh, 100%.
And it's going to be live to everyone. So every time he says anything to me now, I'm going to bring up this video.
Yeah. I'm going to be like 200 miles into an ultra one day. And I'm going to be like, bro, my legs, man, are fucked. Stop being a pussy.
You know what that sounds like? Here, let me play you this clip.
Both legs are just shattered. They're swollen like I've got elephanitis or some shit. Like, I can't go anymore. You are being a pussy right now.
But yeah, no. Obviously, injury is not something. It is something to have a laugh and a joke about afterwards. But when you're actually trying to achieve a goal, when you've got a milestone set, you want to be very careful in your training.
Yeah, it's annoying when you get an injury, man. Like that 10K for me, I should have pulled out of it, but I didn't. I still ran. But at the time, granted, I thought it was like pulled muscle, ligament damage. Like my ankle swelled up like a balloon. But at the same time, I didn't think it was a break because I was walking on it. I was doing my day-to-day job. I was going to work, driving fine, walking fine on it. Yeah, there was a limp, but it was an injury, and it was on a joint. So I thought, yeah, it's probably just wear and tear of the ligaments around. And it turned out after about 10 weeks of it just not going down, constantly ballooning and bruising, after running a 10K, just in pain. I nearly passed out with the pain at the end of that when it stopped. I was like, yeah, I need to go and get it checked out. I've done the 10K. I've got nothing else coming up. Turns out it was a break. Clean break straight through my fibula bone at the bottom, just above my ankle. I can still feel the break where the calluses is built over the top of it. And yeah, man, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah, so I'd say somewhat different experiences. So in yours was basically going from having never run, apart from, obviously when you were a teenager in secondary school.
Yeah.
So there's easily close to a 10-year gap.
Yeah, decade easy.
From, obviously not saying never ran, but never ran with the mentality of trying to run. Like running to the shop and stuff, that don't count.
Yeah, I mean, I was into cross country in school, but I did like a couple of races like to try and get into county. Didn't end up getting into it for whatever reason. I think I was just like wanting to do other stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
And then obviously I played football, like soccer for the Americans, quite a lot. But like, yeah, other than that, there's no passion for running. It
Yeah,
wasn't
so I
like,
think what would have stemmed your injury was the fact that you'd gone from none of that to trying to do way too much, way too fast. And essentially you just put way too much pressure on your legs. Your legs were just there like, I'm not used to this.
oh, 100%.
And it just gave
Bro,
out.
straight up. It was like a band snapped on my leg, man.
Yeah, I don't think mine was quite linked to that because we had already covered 21K in terms of distance. Obviously, the track does play a part, but mine was because on the way up, for the first 9K going uphill was fine. And then once we started to hit the downhill, fine again, no pain. But as soon as it started to level out and I had to start putting in that bit of extra effort to push myself forward, I must have just had a funny landing. And yeah, just something triggered. Obviously, wear and tear, heightened strain on my legs because we'd already run like 16, 17K at this point, and then it just gave out, unfortunately. Surprising it was my right knee though, because I'm right-footed, I'm right-handed. That's where you expect like the dominance and the more strength to be. And yeah, it just hit me, and it's at that stage now where I'm 5 weeks from Sheffield, and I'm kind of just. I didn't run all last week, and like says injuries are annoying because I want to be out running. We've got the marathon the end of this year in October the 18th, and I want to be getting prepped for that. I don't want to be like isolated, waiting to be ready to run. But unfortunately, that's what you have to do. It's part of the game.
Happens, man. It's part of it, yeah. It's, the good thing is, though, because I've experienced an injury to the point where it didn't knock me back just a couple of weeks. You just got a bruise, a little boo-boo. Like, my injury knocked me back, like, ages, and it was because I kept running on it. If I'd have listened to my partner said it. If I listened to my partner and my body, I should have got it investigated with the hospital straight away. Obviously, they'd have told me there's a fracture there, and I would have had it casted up, rested, on crutches, so I was not putting any wear and tear. But the issue was I was stubborn, and I was probably a little bit scared to hear the fact, you can't run this 10K race, which is just like silly to think about. But prior to that, the reason why I was scared about that is because I already pulled out of a race due to medical issues in the past as well. So I was like, man, I need to do this, not for anything apart from me. I've got to do it for me. And the fact that I was running and I felt good, like, remember that actually, like 3 days before the event, the Napton 10K, you come running with me and we literally covered like 200 meters and I was like, yeah, man, this ankle's done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that. But he does raise a good point. He had a scheduled 10K at an earlier point, which unfortunately he was unable to attend to, like he says, for personal reasons. But you got to think about it. If you were in those shoes, and then you get through that, and then you sign up for another race, and something else happens, it's going to mess with your head because you're just going to think, I'm in the same circle. I'm never able to make progress.
Yeah.
Now, although what you did was wrong, brute forcing your way through it, essentially to prove you can, you turned what could have been like a 2 week recovery into like a 10-week recovery.
Oh yeah, it was like 2.5 months, man.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It's definitely the wrong way to go about it, but it's a good perspective to see that it's probably one of the worst feelings ever when you just feel like you're stuck. Like every time you feel like you're about to make progress, you get set back.
And that's what my life felt like, man. Like with this injury in particular, like obviously weren't an injury the previous one that stopped me, but it was one of them decisions where it's like I need to do this for me, like running I'm talking about. And when you get stopped for something that's out of your control and you're going through, and that's one of them, you have to put your things off just for temporary purposes, but then you're back on it, you're back on the train, then an injury kicks in and it's like, okay, sweet, mild injury, I'll be back on the running next week. Next week never comes, week after never comes, close to the race, trying to run, it's like shit. Like, no exaggeration, for this race I literally had a ankle strap, I put that round and I literally taped my leg with like electrical tape around my ankle to hold that shit, because I was thinking in my head there when it come to Napton after that run, when I got home I was like, man, this has got to be a broken ankle, man. Like, and I put a strap on, which over time the elastic got looser, so I've strapped it, put the strap on they provide me with the strap, and then over the top of that for the race I put electrical tape around it, and then I put my sock on the top, and I was like, okay, sweet, Could barely bend it, but I was
So
like,
man
this.
basically cut off all circulation to his foot.
But the crazy thing is, for the first 3K, it was agony. Like we got to Napton, me and my friend walked up. Like obviously it's Napton on the hill, so there's a big hill. We had to literally walk for like probably a mile to get to the start of the race from where they told us the car park was. It's because it's a small village, and we walked up this hill. We got to like this venue where the start of the race was. Obviously got prepared and that, and then when we went, 3K comes in, and the injury was just agonizing. I was on the fence. I even said to Lyndon, I said, "Look, yo, if I stop, you go. I'll meet you at the finish." I even asked the event organisers picking up our bib that day. I said, "What's the cut-off time to the event?" She said, "Oh, it's a small village. We'll just wait until the last one comes in." I said, "Sweet," because it's looking like an hour and 20 for me, maybe an hour and 30. And I said to the guy that I was running with, I said, "You go if I need to stop." So I carried on, and then all of a sudden, I don't know whether I jarred it even more or something, but I literally felt my foot expand in my shoe, and it just went numb. And I was like, "Okay, I'm switched on now for the 10. Like I can't feel it anymore, so I'm good." So yeah,
Let's establish this right here and now. That is not good.
no,
Okay, when you stop feeling, that's a serious problem.
yeah,
Obviously,
my foot went numb, bro.
yeah,
Honestly.
100%. So I didn't even know about like the whole strapping your leg up. I knew you wore like an ankle brace, but
yeah.
strapping up.
Basically, I put electrical tape around it, man.
Yeah, and obviously this situation you could take from this and be like, oh yeah, well it worked out, yeah, but that's, you know,
Yeah, it's not
David
good.
Goggins' runs always work out, and that man's basically half metal at this point. You know? It's not about whether it works out or not. It's about doing things in a manageable way. So in Shez's instance, you basically put way too much strain on your body way too early.
Yes.
And I did something that my body clearly wasn't ready for too soon.
Yeah.
You know, even though I would say fitness-wise and health-wise, I was probably around the readiness point, but running, yeah, definitely not.
I reckon what it boiled down to is because when you're running, like me, when mine happened, it was literally due to the fact that I was running a distance that I'd never ran before. It was like overall distance, right? I think it happened on like a 14K run, and I wanted to do 16 because it was 2 laps of Draycott. So I did the first lap with my missus, and we were stop and start and running. Then she took my daughter into the park and stuff, so I wanted to see how fast I could get around it. Now this is an 8-kilometer loop around this big reservoir, and I said to my missus, "How fast do you reckon I can get around this?" And she said like 40 minutes or 45. I said, "Done." Meanwhile, I've never ran.
Ooh, a challenge.
Yeah, I literally never ran anything like that far, that fast before. So I was like, "Yeah, let's see how we can do." And I was holding a good pace, and then it come to the last, like, I don't know, kilometer or kilometer and a half, and then yeah, that elastic band just snapped on my leg, and I was like, "Whoa!" But it weren't like an elastic band; it was like a twinge, and I carried on. This actually stopped me dead. Like it was like snap, bang. It was like literally I got stung all up my leg. I was like, "Yo, what the hell?" And then when I tried to put my weight on it, my leg just gave, and I was just like, "Fuck."
Yeah, man, it's an insane thing, but I think the premise here is to highlight that although I think this part is a bit of a touch and go thing, because sometimes when you get a mild injury, for example, like mine, I don't think mine is major. Right? I don't think like mine's similar to Shez's with a break or anything like that. I think it's just maybe a slight dislocation, not a full dislocation, but basically my knee's
Strain.
it's been jarred.
Strain, yeah.
It's been jarred in a way where it's not good. But you know, would I say I don't think I need to go to the doctors? You know, I'm not a big fan of doctors or hospitals, but I genuinely don't think I would have to go to the doctors or hospital for this. I think with good food, good rest, and good managing, this will heal well on its own.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also think that in the future, if I do feel like I've suffered something like what you went through with a clean snap of my leg, I'm going to get it checked out. And that would be my advice going forward is try to self-diagnose yourself. Like, look at yourself first and be like, okay, what are the symptoms I'm feeling? What's this? And if all signs are pointing to this could be dangerous, definitely get checked out. Don't try and like botch fix it or just powerhouse through, because you could be turning a very simple, small injury with a very small recovery time into something that could change your life. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it is mad. Yeah.
Don't treat yourself like that.
Don't be so hard on yourself when it comes to shit.
Yeah, like, you got to understand, like, when you're training, one of the best things to do is to look at yourself as an individual and say, how have I lived my life up to this point? And then kind of compare what you're going into.
Yeah.
You know, like I've always been somewhat active, but more on the strength side. You know, I've always been able to do like press ups, pull ups, you know, all like the body weight work. But even at one point, I was doing a driving job, and it was kind of a wake up call to me in terms of cardio related fitness. Was I was living on a third floor apartment at the time, and then one day I finished because I used to drive for 11 hours a day. I'd finish, you know, go up the stairs, and I got to my front door, and I was gassed. I got my keys out, and I was like, "Fucking hell, I ain't done fuck all day. Why am I so tired?" And I was kind of looked at it. I was like, "This is what sitting on my ass for 11 hours is doing to me."
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Mentally, it was draining as fuck. Like you drive for 11 hours, it
Oh
messes
yeah,
with your
yeah.
head.
You're
It's hard.
tired as anything mentally.
But physically, my body was just degrading, and I was just there like falling apart. And so that's when I jumped into like intensity fitness courses
Yeah.
just to try and establish some baseline. But even then, I would say that since we've started running, a whole new ball game.
Oh mate, the what was it? Word? The dedication and the drive you need to stay consistent with running is crazy. Like it took me by surprise when I wanted to start.
100%. I remember when you first started and you were telling me that you were doing like the couch to 5K and it's like 60-second run,
Yeah.
then a rest. Now it's like we know we could go out there. If my leg was good and whatnot, we could go out there and run for 2-3 hours.
Yeah, 100%. Which I'm so stoked about, and that's why small intricate details matter. Like I didn't do the whole NHS couch to 10k, couch to 5k. I did the Google search abbreviated version because when I was reading through it, I was like, I personally think my physical level is better than doing three runs a week at 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off, and then only incorporating like a 30-second in between. So I essentially did like one run a week, but gradually increasing the intensity. Even that shocked me. But it was the jump start I needed to get consistency. It was like the training plan I needed to get me going. And did that lead to the injury? It probably did, because the researching more on running and pushing yourself with all these intricate details about running, you definitely need to have a strong aerobic foundation. You can't just go and expect to run or cover 100k, 20k, 30k straight off the rip. You need that foundation of impact, the foundation of muscular foundation, ligament foundation, bone foundation, impact. Do you know what I mean? It's all plays a big factor in running. Before you can even think about the speed, you need to have the distance. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it is.
Yeah, I think like it's one of the reasons like running is considered the hardest discipline, because once it starts to get into your head where it's like, oh, I'm tired,
Yeah.
that's when it really starts to kick in, where you can actually start to perform. But most people just hit that point and they're like, yeah, this is too much for me. But I think running is a great exercise to do. I don't think it's great to solely dedicate it, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, your body taking constant impact from running, you know, even if it's just on a flat surface, that impact is wear and tear. Okay, and wear and tear, especially on like your skeleton and like your joints and the cartilage in between your joints, that's not something that you can necessarily regrow and train. They're not like muscles.
Yeah.
These fade over time. So
That's it.
you know, this is why a lot of people use like CrossFit trainers, you know.
Yeah, like ski
Just
machines.
completely take the impact aspect out of it. You've still got the cardio. You do lose essentially some of the I believe you lose some of like the muscular endurance train of it, because at the end of the day, it's still going to train like your quad muscles when you're pushing off them.
Yeah. You basically need to incorporate cross training, like Tom was saying. Like if you was to go into it, this marathon prep especially, without diverting too much. Obviously, in the previous episodes, you guys know we've signed up for a marathon, Yorkshire Marathon. What is it, Ultra Yorkshire Marathon?
Ultra Yorkshire Marathon, yeah.
Yeah, Ultra Yorkshire Marathon in 2026, October 18th. We're doing that, but in this prep, different to the half marathon. In retrospect, the chance of me having a better time in my half marathons would have been way higher if I'd have done strength-based training as well. But for this marathon, I want to do muscular strength training, cross training like cycling, rowing machine, just to get that fitness base level up, so I can still build the zone 2 aerobic base without putting wear and tear on my legs as much. So we're going to do some bike rides as well.
Yeah, like it's going to be really awesome once we actually
establish a good
once we put our routine into place. We haven't yet, due to a multitude of factors. But right now, I couldn't get started anyway. Right now, like there's stuff I could do. I could definitely probably jump on a rowing machine. Rowing machine might even be good for me because
Well, you're bending your knee a lot, man. So you want to be careful.
Yeah, maybe, but there's no pressure there, and moving it is helping it heal.
True.
Increase blood flow.
We'll have to see.
Once we get into our actual training routine, because we are doing this together, our training routine is going to be hopefully very symmetrical.
Yeah, we're going to work together to.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. But yeah, on the premise of injury, like listening to your body is key.
Yeah.
But don't be stubborn. Don't be like us. It's very foolish. Like I botched my knee up with still at least 6K to go on that.
Yeah.
Because I got the initial jar probably at like kilometer 13, but I was somewhat still able to run. But yeah, just like as it got worse, it was one of those things where I think in that particular situation when you're in the middle of a race, especially something like a first time, I wasn't not gonna finish it. Like my head was like, regardless of injury, I'm gonna finish, and I had to stop a couple of times. Yeah, I was getting. I need to research this because I don't know what it's called. But the equivalent of tennis elbow, when you do that and then that locks up and you struggle to pull it apart. I was getting that in my knees when I was running.
Probably like a cramp on the tendon, wasn't it? Something.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is, but it probably was due to.
There is a medical term that someone knows in the comment section. 100%.
Save me from my stupidity. But yeah, it was horrible, and like each time I did it, I probably got like 30 paces on this because every time it was harder and harder to pull my leg back to stand on it. And this is when I lost him on the race, and I had to stop and I had to massage this like whatever it was, this cramp, this knot out of my leg. And then even then I was looking down, I was like, I've still got like 8K to go.
Yeah, you did it though, man. That's the main thing.
Yeah, but it's not, I don't know if it's something I'd recommend. Like if you did full prep, you took care of your diet, your nutrition, and you prepped really well, you had a good like coach guideline, and you still had that kind of struggle, then I would say it would be fair play for you to push through. But with my bad prep, bad nutrition, and just overall ill prep, realistically, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make DNFing from a race, though, isn't it? Man?
Oh, 100%. I even looked at it. I was like, yo, how am I going to sneak out of this race, man? I got to get this whipping, this label off me so no one sees me.
No, like, imagine just DNFing, man. It'll be hard.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. For me, I couldn't face that because not only is everyone else seeing me do it,
I mean, it's yourself. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not going to say never because there would be some sort of, like, the races I want to do, like, I'm more into my longer distance, like I know it for a fact. I like that. For half marathon for me, when towards the end of it, when it's like really itching you know what I mean, when you're in pain, you've nearly finished, like I love that feeling and I want to ride that feeling as much as possible. It sounds weird, it's probably like self-harming, but
no, it's not. No, because there is such a thing as like sensational pain, and it's like it's like approval through pain. Like because you're in pain, that you've put in the hard work.
Yeah.
But if there was one thing I would take away from this, it's just, especially if you're at our age and you have like no prior medical conditions or whatnot, there's always another race. There'll always be another half marathon, another 10K, like never get zoned into thinking it's like, oh, this is my half marathon, this is my marathon. No, there'll be another one.
Some of them make them really hard to get into, though, like London and Boston and type. If you've got them type of races, I don't know how that lies with them. If you're already in, do you get the second chance to race it again if you didn't complete it? I don't know. Because, like, it is a bit sucky if you waited for so long to get into, like, London.
But at the end of the day, a marathon's a marathon. Like, a half marathon's a half. Obviously, we're not marathon fanatics. We're not going to look at it like that. Like, doing a half marathon, it's great to do the different courses, but you're still doing a half marathon. You're covering 21K.
Yeah. Like
so you still do the marathon. You're still covering 42K. Doesn't need to be London or Boston. Belgium. You could do what we're doing, the ultra marathon. That's what the hell was that? That was like 85 quid to get into.
Yeah, that was with the finishers T-shirt because it's our first marathon. So we're gonna get that finishers T-shirt to show you guys. You know what I mean? That's gonna be worn every day. But yeah, like Tom was saying, just because, I mean, it's different things. Marathons are good, especially if you do the world majors, because you are going around the world to do these events.
Oh, mate,
So,
I don't
like,
think there's anything wrong with that. But I think from a general perspective, just not for the average person,
yeah,
they don't look at it like that. Like,
it all
to
depends, though.
participate in world marathons, you probably have to have a passion for running marathons.
Yeah, true. And a lot of them are probably expensive. But I don't know, the courses for me are different, you know what I mean? It's like the Sheffield to Coventry, right? They were two different half marathons because the courses were so different apart. Like,
yeah, but you have got like the buzz for running.
yeah,
That's what I'm
true.
saying. For people who are out there and they're thinking,
Every day, yeah.
it would be nice to run a half marathon, or it's nice to run a marathon. And you just see it as a marathon. You
Yeah.
don't need to be picky. Find one that's close to you that doesn't cost a fortune that you can get in and accomplish. You'll get a medal for it, and then you can say, "I've run a marathon."
Yeah, join the 1% club. That's all it is.
Yeah, 100%. Even if you just ran a marathon for the sake of, I just want to run a marathon. If you did like what we're doing at the minute with the Ultra Yorkshire Marathon,
Yeah.
you've still done something that roughly, like, I think it's like 0.87% of people that have done.
Yeah, it's definitely under 1.
It's
like
under 1% of people
under
have actually ran a marathon.
and completed it.
You know,
Not took
so
part, completed a marathon.
That's what I mean. Like, if you're able to run a marathon, even if you complete it at like a steady 7 pace, that is an achievement. That is a milestone.
Yeah, you should be proud. And we're not athletes in any way. We're not going to turn around to you and say, oh, if you don't run a marathon, you haven't done a marathon. I honestly don't get why people do that. People have their own different goals. We're trying to build consistency ourselves, and we're trying to document and explore with you guys what the best ways are, and to try and motivate and be that friend for you that you can actually go and achieve it. So don't set your barriers too high. One person's marathon is someone's Everest. You know what I mean? That's just as simple as it is.
Man with all the phrases over here. No, but he raises a really good point. At the end of the day, everyone's got milestones and things they want to achieve. And so what the main feature of our journey here is to find ways to help people stay consistent. In this episode, it was about hopefully how to manage better injuries. Right, that concludes today's podcast on injuries. Hopefully, there's been some good insight in here, especially because we've both gone through some crappy injuries, self-inflicted, but at the end of the day, it's a learning process and all part of the journey.
That's the one. Now, talking of journey, we are on our way to becoming ultra marathon runners by the end of 2026. So if you guys want to help us defeat the challenge of building this community up, we would like to get to 1,000 subscribers by the time we do an ultra marathon. So if you like this podcast and you're interested in the journey and how far we can go with it, definitely join the community.
That's it, man. Subscribe to the channel, share these videos with your friends, and most importantly, comment down below your stories. Anything related to consistency. It doesn't have to be fitness related. It can be anything, whether you're studying for a doctorate,
anything.
Whether you're playing an instrument, whether you yourself are actually on some major fitness journey. It could be a weight gain program, weight loss program, whatever it is. We want to hear about it because we are going to be featuring these in future podcasts to hopefully give our own perspective on it.
Yeah.
And maybe even hopefully learn stuff.
And we'll just love to get to know you all better and have a good conversation inside this podcast, because that's what it's built for. It's built for a community where we can technically be your person to help motivate you guys, because we're just going through it ourselves as total beginners.
Absolutely. Keeping you consistent is going to spread a message around the world about how consistency is going to make your life that much better.
Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.